Hi everyone, I'm Pooja Kant Alfred from emofreetherapy.com, and I'm sorry about the delay. I was just figuring out some technical challenges with FB Live because this is my first time. Okay, so today's topic is understanding emotions. Now, emotions are a part of our everyday lives. We feel and we are usually so afraid of feeling that we end up suppressing those feelings or we end up acting out on those feelings. So, learning to make our emotions work for us is really, really important. Learning emotional skills, self regulation skills, these are really vital tools that we need to handle the challenges that life throws at us. And so today we'll begin by understanding what emotions are. And if you have any questions, feel free to type those questions in that text box and I will get to them if I can in the presentation or after the presentation. So what are emotions? According to the neurologist Antonio R. Damasio, emotions are complex reactions that the body produces to something, to a stimuli, to a situation. And for example, if you're angry with someone, you will experience some sensations in your body. Have you noticed that when you're angry, you might feel that your heartbeat increases, or you feel the tightness in your chest, or something else happens? So, all of us have these somatic markers, these changes that happen in the body when we feel something, and it might differ from person to person. So, this means that whenever we feel something, whenever we have emotions, we feel it in the body. The body shows those emotions in different ways, with different kinds of sensations. So each emotion also has its own firing pattern in the brain. And that's why emotions are called action requiring neurological programs, which means that, let's say, if we have anger, there's a specific firing pattern for that in the brain, and there are also changes in our physiology. And also, these emotions arise in response to something that's happening. It could be external, it could be internal. And the message in the emotion is to basically take an action based on them. The action doesn't have to be a physical action. For example, let's say you see somebody being beaten up and you really feel angry because of the injustice of that. It's not necessary that you'll take an action which can be physical, which means just going and helping that person. It could be that you'll call the police, or it could be something else. So depending on the situation, the emotions arise and we are required to take an action, which can be a mental action, it can be a choice, a decision, a perspective that you may follow, or it can be a physical action. So what is the difference between emotions and feelings? And in this presentation, although we are going to be using it interchangeably, there is a difference between emotions and feelings. The simplest way to understand that is to understand that emotions are felt in the body, whereas feelings are the awareness of the emotion. So if you're angry and you feel that your chest is tightening, and once you become conscious of that, you feel the anger, that is your feeling. But in this presentation, like I said, we'll be using these two terms interchangeably. Now, what really happens in the body when you feel something? What happens is that the brain dumps chemicals into the bloodstream, and these chemicals last in the bloodstream from approximately a few seconds to up to 90 seconds. And then they rush out within that 90 seconds frame. Now, isn't that interesting? Because these emotions, they just last for a few seconds. And the maximum is up to 90 seconds, right? And then they go away. But what happens is that these emotions linger. There's a reason why these emotions linger, because we don't allow ourselves to feel these emotions because it's so uncomfortable to feel it. Who wants to sit through anger? Who wants to sit through guilt and shame? We don't want to. So what we do is we suppress them, or we act out, for example, shouting or becoming aggressive when you're angry, or suppressing, which can end up in you becoming passive aggressive, or even ruminating, thinking over and over about it, or having feelings for feelings. You're feeling guilty for being angry, and so on and so forth. All this can, really make your emotions linger, and then that becomes mood. So anger is something that you can feel, but it can become temper. That's the mood if it lingers, and then that can create additional problems. So each emotion, if you can understand, the main thing about emotion that I have understood is that each emotion has a wave like pattern. It goes up and then it goes down if you allow yourself to feel that emotion. So the simplest thing that you can do is just label those emotions when you feel them. So you can say that I feel this anger or I feel this guilt right now, and just sit with that. Just feel a little bit of that. You can say, I allow myself to feel 10% of this anger right now, and I'm choosing to sit with it, and just sit with that and just breathe in and out. If you can get away from the situation, that's the best thing you can do, that is triggering that feeling, and just sitting down with yourself and breathing while you're feeling that emotion, knowing that it's not going to last forever. It's just a wave which will come and which will go. So each emotion has its own wave. So let's say if you have 3 emotions, then it will be a total of approximately 90 plus 90 plus 90 seconds. So the easiest way to handle that, or the toughest way to handle that really, is to just sit with those feelings. Sit and just feel them, and this will help you to pause before reacting. You will respond instead of react. So that's all for today. I wanted to keep it very short, and in the next FB Live, we'll discuss more about this, and we'll also discuss how to handle difficult emotions. So that's all for today. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next FB Live.